Welcome to Alabama Manufacturing Now, hosted by Alabama Technology Network, a podcast where we cover a wide array of challenges, solutions, and innovations for manufacturers. We're your host, Whitney Barlow, Supplier Development Manager. And I'm Paige Caulfield, Marketing and PR Manager.
Welcome back, everyone, to Alabama Manufacturing Now. We are excited today to have another opportunity to speak with one of our project engineers with ATN, Tim Croley. And he has brought along with him one of his clients, Mullins with Connector Manufacturing Company. I'm Whitney Barlow, the Supplier Development Manager for ATN, and we are excited to talk to y'all about the impacts and projects that are going on at CMC. Tim, how long have you been with ATN, and what exactly does your day-to-day look like?
Okay, I've been with ATN 11 and a half years, and my day-to-day activities include primarily training, but not exclusively training. We do a lot of technical services for companies. So most days we're going on site with the company and trying to meet their needs through some type of EHS training or technical services.
When you do your training, and you've brought Mona here, that has done, you've done training there. So what exactly have you done with CMC and Mona and her group? Tim, can you talk to us a little bit about the training that you've done with Connector and with Mona and her team?
Sure. We started our partnership with Connector Manufacturing back in 2014, and we delivered power industrial truck training or forklift training. And we've continued with that through the years. We've done several sessions, whether it's for new employees or refresher training for employees or trainees that had already been through previous forklift training. But we ventured out from there and we did some technical services. So we did some job safety analysis, looking at the hazards within the facility, the associated risk, and then ways that we could mitigate and control those hazards and risks. We did ergonomic assessments for Connector. We've done noise monitoring assessments to help support their hearing conservation program. We've also done fall protection training. 2 times delivered OSHA 10-hour training to help support their safety committee. And we also do their OSHA refresher safety training each year. And at one point, we even did some virtual online training to help support their needs.
That's fantastic. So there's a lot of different trainings that we do, and there's a lot of different training outlets in the state of Alabama. Can you tell us one thing about the training that we offer at ATN that makes us unique?
Sure. Our EHS team, as with all of our ATN teams, we pride ourselves in holding ourselves to a high standard. And so getting into the regulations, having a good understanding of the regulations, knowing what's the latest coming out from OSHA, ADEM, EPA, any other governing regulatory bodies, and also trying to learn what the client's needs are. So understanding what their programs are, their policies, their procedures, and trying to incorporate that into training. So the trainees, they not only get the regulatory side of it, but they also get the site-specific training that they need so that they can work safely on their day-to-day operations.
So it's a really customized product for the client.
Yes, we do pride ourselves on trying to customize and tailor the products specifically for the client as much as we can.
All right, I'm going to hop over to Mona real quick. Mona, tell us a little bit about Connector Manufacturing and what your role is there.
Okay, so Connector Manufacturing was originally located in Greenville, Alabama in 1986. So in some upcoming years from there, I started there, and kind of, we were a very small company at that time. So it's grown significantly over these 35 plus years. So currently it was originally privately owned, by an entrepreneur. And he passed away in the early 2000s, and we were acquired by a company called Hubble Corporation. So from there, we have grown and tripled in size and sales and forecasts. So currently, I am the plant manager. That's a role I was in prior to the acquisition and have been in since. So that's kind of our day-to-day activities. We currently employ 250 employees. And we now have recently, within the last 2 years, we've acquired another local company that was a supplier of ours. So we now have 4 buildings in the Industrial Parkway. So we're advancing our capabilities and increasing capacity. Over the next 2 years, we're doing an $18 million investment there to add machining capabilities.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you and Tim or ATN first connect?
We first connected. Tim was originally an employee for Connector Manufacturing,
Oh,
and he was
when?
yes, he was our safety coordinator specialist. And so from there, once Tim left, and then once he was brought on at ATN, he connected back with us and said, hey, these are the things we offer. So we immediately jumped on board. The training, the professionalism. I mean, it's been a great partnership. And so we're just, we're thankful for them, because a lot of it, we just simply don't have that type of employee base in that area to provide this training. So this works out great to have them available, and they're always quick to react when we need training.
That's fantastic. So what are some of the challenges that you started noticing that made you realize that your employees needed training?
Main thing, first and foremost, was safety. That was a huge, that's just huge regardless. We all want everyone to come to work safe and go home safe. So that was our first and foremost. We really needed assistance with safety training, and we needed someone to come in that had the knowledge and background for that. So that was one of the immediate. And then, as Tim spoke to, the forklift training, we've used them in every capacity possible there. So it just led to all the additional training he talked about.
Yeah. Tim, now she, said a key word that we like to use a lot, which is partner. How important is that word to ATN? And talk a little bit about customer satisfaction and how important that is to you and your team.
Sure. Partnership, it means both sides working together. But the customer satisfaction as a partner, going back to what I mentioned earlier, learning what their needs are and trying to work together to provide a solution. And so understanding their operations, what they do day to day, the various activities that they do, what they manufacture, how the process flows, understanding that is huge with providing customer satisfaction. And one thing in particular with Connector Manufacturing, they run multiple shifts throughout the day. And so they have some employees that may start at 6 o'clock in the morning. Some will come in at 2 p.m. Some come in and work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And so we just found it best to support the company when they needed some of their training is to come in at their shift times. So to me, it makes sense rather than having a team of 30 or 40 people to have to shift their schedule around. We only have 1 or 2 trainers come in and shift our schedule. And so that's one thing that we do to try to ensure customer satisfaction is to keep all the employees on their schedule and shift our schedule around to support them.
That's great. So we talked a little bit about EH&S team, and I'm not sure if we mentioned it earlier, but you are actually one of the leaders of the ATN EH&S team. So what is something, when your team goes in to train some manufacturers, what is really that they're striving for?
Well, we are striving to find out what the needs of the client or our partner is. And we find out that need, and then we work to tailor our training to meet those needs. But it goes back to communication, and it also goes back to understanding that in this role or in this environment, we're working with adult learners. And everybody who comes into a training session as an adult, they have different backgrounds, different experiences, they have various needs. And so we try to gauge our audience early on and try to learn what the trainees need, where they're at, and then throughout the course of the training, try to get to their level wherever it is, so that we are ensuring that we're meeting those needs and communicating the training properly to them.
Gotcha. So, Mona, where would you rank the quality of ATN training? And maybe there's an example we've had some previous guests on the podcast that we asked that question to, and then they kind of talked about a specific training that they referred back to of where you saw a real impact with when ATN's staff left, you saw an impact with your company and your team members.
Yes. So I think throughout all the training, of course, safety continues to be one that you can always tell a difference after we do the yearly safety refresher. So that's always one. Another key one is the forklift training. The forklift training, even for, just the refresher training for our current forklift drivers, they always reference and talk about, things that they learned or communicated or spoke with the trainer about. So I think that stands out most to me. And also the other thing, ATN provided our ISO internal audit training. That was another training that we've used them a couple times for. And so, one of the trainers that came in, the employees were like speaking very highly of him and how educational and how they felt like they really understood internal auditing now. In the past, they had really struggled. So that stood out to me as well because they spoke very highly of their trainer.
So we have a training and we provide providers. No one likes the auditing process, especially internally, tends to sometimes get complicated.
Yes.
And people don't realize what exactly you should be auditing closer than others. And so when they came in, because that's a really neat one, as well as the forklift, I think enough of us have been on plant floors to know that is a very dangerous.
Yes.
They move a lot quicker than you realize they move, and you can step in the wrong place and have a serious situation. But when they did the ISO training, how did that really set apart? Like, what did they see that they noticed with the training that was being provided?
The training was very detailed. And not only that, the trainer actually went out on the floor with them, and they actually did internal auditing as part of the training process. It wasn't just a class setting. It was an opportunity for them to actually, and him, demonstrate exactly how the auditing process should be conducted. So that was the key to it. Because
Very
you can...
hands-on.
Yes, very hands-on, because you can teach, but at the same time, a lot of times people don't know how to apply that.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, that's very important.
Or realizing what you're exactly, I can imagine.
Yes.
Auditing, so especially if I didn't have the opportunity to learn what it was, I would be like, exactly what are we auditing now?
So, Mona, did ATN's training, has it opened any new opportunities for you or for Connector?
Yes, it has opened opportunities. And one of those, just to explain a little bit about how, just like the acquisition that we currently completed. So with having the safety training, forklift training, access to that type of training from professional individuals, that gave us another opportunity to say to our corporate level, hey, we have this available. We can, simply email or call up ATN and they immediately can provide us with the training we need. Just showing that we had stability with, the safety, ISO, just like Tim, fall protection, all the different things that we have to have training. We had access to that available. And not only that, just, working as a partnership, reviewing the cost, and seeing that, it wasn't costing the company like a significant amount of money. And that was available. That opened the door for them to say, okay, well, you know what? We can look at this acquisition and feel comfortable that when we make this move, you're going to have someone there to support, for further, training new employees.
Right.
Because the new acquisition, we acquired 50 new employees.
Wow.
That had never had all of this training. So that was a key to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked a little bit about our training and the new opportunities. So one thing that you would like to say that is a good takeaway from the training that ATN provides?
A good takeaway is, I think to me, is just knowing they're available. And I know that sounds very plain, but just knowing they're available.
We sound like a superhero. You call, we answer.
I know. Well, seriously, that's my point, because Tim can tell you, I'll just email him and say, hey, we really need this. What can you do? And he is on it to respond back and say what the dates are available. The other thing, another takeaway, is just the ability for them to work around our shifts.
Yeah.
Like you spoke to as well. Just having multiple shifts. And of course, you don't want to cut production time, and you're looking at how do you get really good training in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a big one for sure. Tim, one question for you. You have provided training at Connector for how long? How many years would you say?
Since 2014 is when we
So about
started.
10 years
Yes.
you've been over there in Greenville. You also worked there. So your partnership relationship, speak on that a little bit to this day and over the past 10 years.
Sure. When you talk about partnership, you're talking about both parties working together. You're talking about clear and open communication between everybody. You're talking about mutual trust, and ultimately working to provide solutions for whatever needs are identified. And I do believe that we have that good partnership with Connector. And so we obviously partner with them for project work, whether it's training or technical assistance, but that partnership doesn't end there. We continue the partnership and continue communications outside of that project work time. And so, at any point, I may just call Mona, or she may call me, checking in, seeing what's going on. I see how they're doing, where their operations are. She may see what new that we have available, what we have coming up. And so the partnership continues throughout the year, whether or not we're actually on site delivering training. And I think that is huge. And I do believe that we've established that so that at any point, whether she calls me or I call her, we know that needs are going to be met because we're going to work to find a solution. We're going to work together.
Right.
And so there is that mutual trust, and we fully support each other.
You should wear a cape.
Well, I left it in the car.
Oh, well.
Do you give them a signal like they did?
The bat signal.
And like
That's right.
she puts up.
Well, she gives the signal, and then
It's a hard hat signal now.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like the ATN logo.
Oh, it could be that too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like ATN in the sky.
it goes up, and we come running.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I like that.
That's a good one.
We got a new tagline, everybody.
It goes up, we come running. So we did a tour
2 years ago.
2 years ago
Yeah.
during October for Manufacturing Month. And we toured Connector. Paige and I realized that and had discussed it, and we toured it with LBW students. And how do you feel like that was an impactful experience with bringing the students in, and as well as, of course, people on the team at ATN that maybe not would work with Greenville or work in Conecuh County or Greenville. Some of us we're stationed all over the state, but gives us the opportunity to come in and see. Did you see any benefits from that?
Yes, we most definitely did. So after their tour, and within approximately 6 months to a year now, we received one of the students reached out and was looking for like an internship with our maintenance department. So we actually hired him, and he worked part-time in order to finish his certification. And he has now finished his certification, and he is a full-time employee.
Wow.
So one out of that group, that's amazing, because maintenance, and actually, qualified maintenance individuals are very difficult to find and locate. So that was amazing. Yes,
Great.
that
So
was great.
this brings up another question. But how often do you hire those type of people?
We will hire them as far as maintenance overall. We have recently added approximately 4 to 5 maintenance employees after the acquisition, and with adding 2 additional buildings, we had to ramp up the maintenance staff. So at most any point in time, we're looking for about 2 maintenance employees.
Okay. And what exactly do they need to have on their resume to apply?
Actually, certification is good, but it's not necessary. If you have the experience, and I would say at least 2 to 3 years experience in some type of manufacturing, and have troubleshooting abilities, be able to, talk to us and with us regarding those experiences are, in their background. So that's basically what we're looking for. You don't have to be a specialist in any one thing. It's just about having the ability and having worked in different types of manufacturing.
Gotcha. Okay.
And just for the record, I know that Greenville's in Butler County. It's not in Connecticut. I just want to clear that up for everyone today. I'm aware of which county it's in. I didn't want y'all to think I had a serious moment. So do either one of y'all have any great story where you collaborated together on a problem, where, the ATN signal went out, and not just in, because we've kind of talked in roundabout, but do you have like a specific, like, we had this problem, I sent out the signal, he came running. I feel like one of the big problems would be working around the shifts. But was there a specific thing of like, we've got this major issue and I really need you to figure out how to craft something? I mean, you might not be able to disclose the issue, but just more specifics.
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is we did have an incident earlier this year with a forklift. So immediately the first thing out of my mouth to our safety coordinator was, email Tim, I want to get everybody a refresher course. We're going to see what other training we may need. So that's very fresh on my mind, because that was my first thing was that we get ATN in immediately, and let's do refresher training with everybody.
So from the time that the email was sent to Tim until the completion of that training was about how long?
It was less than a month, maybe.
Wow.
Something like that. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's right. Superhero.
Yeah. Next time you got to wear it. You can't leave it in your car.
Right.
I mean, this is October, so we should have had you in your superhero cape anyway, right? Yes.
All right. Well, Mona, tell everybody how they can contact Connector if they want more information about Connector.
Yes. So if you would like more information about Connector, our website is www.cmclugs.com. That's cmclugs.com. We are an electrical manufacturer, so that's kind of where the lugs comes from. That is one avenue. And also, if you're interested in anything, I can give you the number, 334-708-2261. And you can leave a message and someone will return your call if you're interested in anything related to, our business.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we just want to appreciate you both, Mona and Tim, for being with us today. We just thank you so much. And is there anything else that y'all would like to add before we...
Well, Tim, how can they find you if they want to do safety training?
We got to send up the signal.
Right. Yes. We've got to get some more of those made. I wonder if they're in the marketing budget.
I will make that happen.
Yeah. So simply, emailing me is the best method. So T Croley, TCROLEY @atn.org. or give me a call or text, 334-689-9180.
9180.
9180. There you have it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.